You ever see a grown woman in foam garden clogs sprinting down the sidewalk, waving a laminated document over her head like she's being chased by a barbecue gang? Because that's how my story starts. Right at 6:11 on a perfect summer evening, our cul-de-sac smelling like heaven and sounding like a NASCAR pit stop. I was out there backing this full-size trailer hog roaster into my driveway, chrome fenders, flashing chimney-puffing Bluetooth thermometer, pinging out a cheerful tune when here comes Beverly Crannell, our HOA president, and if we're being honest, the closest thing we've got to a human smoke alarm. Her schnauzer, a little bundle of nerves named Precious, was losing her mind at the end of a rhinestone leash, yapping like she was auditioning for a dog food commercial. Beverly's face had turned so red I thought maybe she was going to blow a gasket, waving around what looked like the HOA's version of a surrender flag, one more laminated urgent document from her personal printer collection. If you'd been there, you might have thought the fire department was about to raid my cookout. Let me back up a sec. My name's Nolan Pierce. I'm a software engineer, work from home, moved to Laurel Crest 6 months ago, thinking, maybe this would be my little slice of peace and quiet. I wanted to grill on weekends, read on the porch, and not get dragged into the drama you see on HOA Facebook groups. For about 3 weeks, it actually felt like I'd pulled it off: quiet streets, maple trees, neighbors who wave but don't pry, the kind of peaceful suburbia you read about in real estate brochures. Yeah, that lasted all of 3 weeks because that's when Beverly decided my propane grill was exactly 13 inches too close to my back wall. You'd think I was running an illegal fireworks factory. She showed up one Saturday while I was flipping burgers, handed me this official-looking violation notice typed highlighted, trembling like she was serving a search warrant, and told me in her most I care so much voice that I was creating a fire hazard. For the whole community, no less. She didn't stop there. Next day, she slid another violation under my doormat like a parking ticket on a Hot Wheels car. I kid you not. This one came with a blurry photo clearly taken from an upstairs window, probably her bathroom if you ask me. And here's the kicker: she added a little Bible verse about hearths and responsibility in curly script at the bottom just for that extra touch of sanctimonious passive aggression. The notice demanded I move my grill immediately or face escalating fines. Now I'm a detail guy, so I measured it myself, 22 inches from the wall, not even close to a problem. The county code says 18 inches is fine. So I took some photos, attached the code, and emailed Beverly. She shot back a reply in under 5 minutes telling me the HOA has higher standards and the county code is just a suggestion for responsible homeowners. Cute, right? Well, Beverly wasn't done. She escalated like a drone with a fresh battery and a mission. Next 2 weeks, she started walking Precious directly onto my lawn, pausing to take surveillance selfies with a measuring tape while Precious left little souvenirs on my grass. Then came the mail, a steady stream of laminated printouts about some Laurel Crest exterior flame ordinance. Never heard of it. Me neither. Turns out nobody has. I checked with 3 different board members. None of them had a clue what Beverly was talking about. One even apologized and admitted Beverly's been making up rules for years. Not satisfied, Beverly took it to the neighborhood Facebook group. She posted that I was stockpiling propane, creating a disaster zone. For reference, I had one standard 20 Paulos tank Costco special. She even included a poll. Do you feel safe with dangerous individuals in the community? Next thing I know, there's a big red sizzle tag taped to my grill handle. It looked official, stamped with something that looked suspiciously like a rubber stamp you'd order off Etsy, and apparently deputized her in the eyes of well herself. And then Tuesday morning, she called in the cavalry, filed a hazardous appliance complaint with the fire department, described my grill as a commercial-grade operation. Not kidding. Then, because Beverly must read those prepper blogs about backyard Armageddon, she called the ATF tip line to report pressurized cylinders in a residential blast corridor. That's a real quote, by the way. I know all this because the fire marshal told me himself. Rodriguez, 30 years on the job, patient as a saint, showed up around 2 in the afternoon. He took one look at my setup, totally code compliant, then looked at Beverly's printouts, glossy as a law exhibit, including one where she had, get this, Photoshop my grill 6 inches closer to the house. But here's where it gets wild. My driveway cameras caught everything. I'd installed them to keep raccoons out of my trash, but they caught Beverly herself at 5:12 in the morning in gardening gloves and oven mitts hopping my fence and physically shoving my grill closer to the house. She paused, measured, nudged it like she was playing chess with my property, then scampered back over the fence. The footage was crystal clear. You could see the determination on her face. This was Beverly's big moment. The fire marshal watched the video on my phone eyebrows, doing gymnastics the whole time. He asked me to email it to him. Then he marched right outside and had a little chat with Beverly, who was waiting on my front lawn, still clutching her stack of laminated nonsense. She tried to launch into another safety speech, but the marshal wasn't buying it. Instead, he cited the HOA for 3 actual fire hazards, real ones. First, the clubhouse, which Beverly manages personally, had a mess of extension cords powering some janky fountain, no permits, nothing. Then tucked under the stairs, a commercial-grade turkey fryer like state fair size blocking the fire exit. And the best part, 5 red gasoline cans in an unlocked shed labeled Landscape Aesthetics in Beverly's handwriting. The marshal told her straight-faced that was both a fire code violation and probably an environmental disaster. 10 minutes later, a patrol car rolled up trespass complaint. The officer, a young woman who looked like she'd seen every flavor of suburban drama, watched my camera footage twice, zoomed in on Beverly's face, then sighed, walked over and handed Beverly a neat little criminal trespass summons +1 for filing a false report. Beverly's mouth opened and closed like a goldfish. She tried to explain she was just ensuring compliance, but the officer politely cut her off and suggested she get herself a lawyer. Meanwhile, the marshal told me to keep my grill at least 10 feet clear and make sure there's good ventilation. 10 feet, I asked, grinning. You got it. So Saturday comes around sunny. Perfect. I went big. I rented a trailer hog roaster from a catering company, fully permitted, up to code Bluetooth thermometer system, the works. Parked it exactly 12 feet from anything measured twice. Then hand-delivered flyers to everyone on the street, pulled pork and gratitude for our first responders. And man, did they show up. Neighbors I barely knew brought side dishes and beer. The fire crew stopped by for seconds. Even Rodriguez, the fire marshal, came by with an infrared thermometer and a measuring tape, signed off on my setup, and told me it was the best barbecue he'd had in years. Now here's where the twist comes in. The HOA board meeting that week was supposed to be in the clubhouse, but thanks to all those code violations, it got moved to my front yard, folding tables, and all right in the middle of my cookout. The secretary started reading an email from Beverly titled Operation Compliance, where she threatened to personally adjust my grill if the board didn't take action. Every board member looked horrified. The vote was immediate, unanimous. They removed Beverly as president on the spot for gross misconduct and potential criminal charges. Rodriguez stuck around out of what he called morbid curiosity and served the HOA with a list of orders: fix those violations in 30 days or the clubhouse gets condemned. Neighbors, 40 of them by now, plates piled high, applauded. Beverly tried to yell something about conspiracies, but my Bluetooth thermometer chirped right then and everyone just laughed. She stormed off, dragging Precious, who looked back at us like, "Can I stay for the pulled pork?" By Monday, Beverly was facing a misdemeanor trespass charge, a nearly $5,000 fine for wasting city resources, 6 months of mandatory fire safety training, and thanks to a judge who apparently likes irony, a restraining order keeping her 30 feet from any BBQ grill or outdoor cooking device. That order even named smokers hibachis fire pits and novelty flameless candles that smell like mesquite. I kid you not, straight from the court document. Somebody at the hearing said Beverly's face when the judge read that out loud was worth the whole ordeal. And honestly, maybe it was. I got my peace and quiet back, the HOA got a wake-up call, and for once the neighborhood pulled together over something other than a lawn care argument. But here's the thing, I can't stop wondering, why is it always the people shouting the loudest about community safety who break the most rules themselves? Maybe you've met a Beverly or two in your own neighborhood, or maybe you've had to fight for your right to grill in peace. Either way, I want to hear your story. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think is real justice when the rules get twisted. And hey, if you ever need a pulled pork recipe or a good laugh at HOA drama, you know where to find me.